How do you know that quitting the thing that you are doing is the right thing to do, or you are just trying to escape the hard or the challenging part, and it is so much required for you to actually go through the challenging part so that you build the muscle of resilience? Because sometimes when you quit, you are relieved from the pressure, but when you look back at your own life, you may develop the self-image of somebody who is a failure, who quits the moment something gets hard, and that is not a way of living life. It is a way of avoiding life. Having said that, there are also certain things that are completely misaligned to us, that might not be the most appropriate fit according to our personality. For example, my corporate job was not the most accurate fit to who I am as a person. I used to feel a lot of suffocation because I am a creative person who wants to do so many other things rather than just the redundant tasks that are involved in an IT job. But if I just quit because things are getting harder, that will leave me with a self-image of being a failure. But it was also important to stop at a point. So I had strategically planned my move that I am going to quit at a particular point, so that when I leave as somebody who was in control, who is the winner, and not someone who just escaped from the whole difficult situation. So how to ask yourself this, and why are we even talking about this? Now remember, this channel is for those ambitious women who want to build their life, who want to create wealth, and who also want to stop seeking permission from other people at every small thing in their life, and that is absolute freedom. So if you want to develop that kind of self-worth and confidence, this is the channel, and you can subscribe for more such videos. Now I coach women on a day-to-day basis, and I see something that when they are close to completing something, let's say studying for a competitive exam, or they are about to complete a degree, or they are about to step into the next role, or they have given multiple rounds of interviews, but when the final round comes of some big job, their brain starts to say that you might not be doing the right thing, and there are so many things that the system just gets overwhelmed, and the challenge that is in front of them starts to look like a big challenge, and it just feels like if I just quit under this pressure, it would be better. Now these pressures can come at any point of time in your life. How do you know it is something that you need to quit? So first we will identify how, and then we will decide the timeline when. So ask yourself, if I quit this particular thing, whatever I am doing, and when I look at myself in the mirror, will I feel relieved that I quit from something that was draining my soul? Or will I look at myself and think of myself as a failure? That let's say if I would have just completed this degree, or I would have passed with flying colors in this particular competitive exams, I would have at least looked at myself as a winner. Even if the marks are not in my hands, the complete effort was in my hand. So when you look at these things that way, you will understand what is the cost that you are ready to pay. Tomorrow, just because you quit this particular thing, okay, you didn't go back to your career after a career break of having children and all of that, and now you're stalking your friend on social media who did the hard part, who went to the job, who is now having a very good career along with children and very good family, and now you are wondering that I should have also done it. When these regrets are coming in your mind, when you look at the future, you know that quitting is not the right thing. Doing the hard thing here becomes the right thing, because the pain of stalking somebody on social media that you could have lived that life is way bigger than the pain that you will experience right now when you're facing those situations. So ask yourself, do I come out as a winner after quitting this particular thing, or do I come out as a loser? For example, quitting my corporate job actually made me come out as a winner, not as a loser. But remember, I did not quit the moment I realized this is not a right thing for me. I started to plan my move. Now I know this is not the right thing for me, and I had identified that coaching could be one of the things that is the right thing for me. But I also decided a particular timeline that for this 6 and 9 months, I'm going to focus on building my social media, see the response of people, and then I make the final decision to put my papers. So from the moment that I realized to the actual day that I signed my resignation, there were a gap of few months. And when you do this strategically, you actually come out as a winner. I had to face a lot of difficult questions when I told my family members that I'm not going to give this competitive exams that I was preparing for, like CAT and GATE and all of these things. And they looked at me like a failure who was trying to quit from something and run away from something. But I knew what I was doing. I knew that when I actually quit all of this, because this is so inauthentic to me, I am going to come out as a winner, not as a loser. Because what I was fighting with, what was the hard thing? I was fighting with those labels put on me just because I'm quitting something that does not resonate with me. So when I, just quit these things, it was like some kind of stones that were lifted from my wings. So if you get this kind of feeling that when you're quitting something, your stones are being lifted, your wings are actually flattering bigger, and you can fly higher, that is that particular thing that needs to be quit. And then you decide the timeline. Planning and strategy is so important, especially in women's life, because our financial situation is directly linked to our sense of safety. When we have enough money in our bank account, when we are well resourced, we can make the decisions of what do we tolerate, what do we not tolerate. And we also have the power to move out of toxic situation. And in today's day and age, where we are seeing so many women suffer because either they lack resources or money, or either they lack courage, confidence, or the support systems to actually come out of toxic situation. Hence, we need to remember that if we just go with the flow, our career gaps are going to get huge and huge. Our financial gaps are going to get huge and huge. And this 5 years gap that you take, usually, let's say another woman who did not take that career break, or another man who didn't take that career break, their careers are compounding. So we end up losing a lot. If you did it by your choice, it's a different story, that you were well resourced, you had planned it properly. So planning plays a very important role. Hence, so many women come to me to formulate these strategies, look at the timelines when they are planning their most important decades of life. Now that we have understood the importance of planning, you also need to identify when is it that I want to quit. You understood this engineering degree is not for you, but let's say you are in the final year, you are in the final semester, you are in the last semester, or you are in the second last semester, you are in the third year. You need to just pull off the last few years, and during that time you can build something on the side that is actually giving you energy that you can take up post your engineering degree. Now what does this do? This creates a winner's mindset. You finished what you started. Now there are certain things that are not important to be finished when you start. Let's say a book. I always read books halfway because they don't mean so much, but a degree, it means something. You have taken that particular decision. This makes you come off as a winner in your own eyes when you say that, okay, I completed this particular thing. You took up a certification, complete that certification, use that certification, and then see what happens. I had completed my engineering degree. I actually took up a job based on that degree, saw how things work. I worked in that job for 2 years, and for a lot of people, this whole zigzag path looked like a path of failure, and they also made comments on that. But I knew what I was doing, hence I had a lot of self-trust. And today, people who are stuck in the same jobs know that they can be laid off at any point, and zigzag careers are the new normal. So a lot of times your intuition, your talents, who you are as a person is giving you a lot of guidance. Listen to that voice, strengthen your inner authority, and take the decisions in your hands, take the decisions of your life. And if you felt scared to do it, and if you felt alone in the journey, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you will find a lot of support on this particular channel, and also in our community of women that we are building, so that we can be ambitious and we can be supportive to each other and build the life that we always have dreamt of. See you in the next video.